So hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's time for episode 2 of the podcast. That felt like a reaction intro. I'm so in recording brain. I've recorded like 5 videos today and it's fried. My brain is fried. But yeah, we're back again for another sit down chat little podcast episode. I have so much to talk about this week. It's insane. Again, I do have a list of things. Will the list keep me on track? Probably not. I've been living in this goddamn t-shirt for the last 3 days because 1, it's my favourite shirt of all time. 2, Motorhead, need I say more? And 3, the heat in this country. Oh, sweet Christ almighty. So yesterday we had highs of 26 degrees. Now listen, I don't want any Americans in my comment section being like, that's not even warm. I am Irish. Alright, I am painfully Irish. We are not used to this kind of heat so suddenly. The last few years we have gotten hot summers, but I've been to LA, alright? I know how hot it gets over there. But you guys are built for that. Every building you walk into has AC, which is an absolute God-given creation, by the way. God bless the big-brained little motherfucker who came up with that, because let me tell you, we don't have AC. My house, we don't have AC. I live in a house, and it's an old-ish house. We don't have AC, so when it gets hot, you just have to suffer. My room at nighttime feels like Satan himself is just breathing very heavily into the room. The flames are licking at your heart and your will to live just deteriorates. All of that to say, this t-shirt for some reason is the only thing I feel comfortable in the last few days. So that's why we're wearing it. It's a lot cooler today though, thank God. I woke up this morning feeling kind of cold, which I just know I'm going to get sick. I just know it. I've been walking around half goddamn naked the last 3 days because of the heat. And I went to sleep last night with no covers or nothing on me. And I woke up and there was a little shiver. I was shivering a small bit. Very exciting times when you've had a 3-day heat wave from hell to feel an ounce of cold. But I do feel like I'm probably going to get sick. What are my arms doing? They're not the best they can. They're just hanging around. Okay, first of all, I want to talk about Dead City because Dead City is back this weekend. If you guys have been with my channel for any amount of time, you know that Walking Dead is my absolute shit. It's my number 1 love in life. Dead City is back on Sunday night or Monday morning for me because I'm European. And the premiere was held recently and it was in New York. Did you guys see they had walkers walking around the streets promoting it? If I was walking around New York City and a goddamn walker walked past me, I think I would just go into fight or flight mode. But yeah, I saw something about the premiere and they're really gearing up promo and stuff. And my question is, oh my God, when is it my turn? I never get to go to anything fun or cool. And I know a lot of shows and franchises do things for fans and stuff. And I probably wouldn't be interested in 98.5% of them. But whenever The Walking Dead does anything and there's fans there and there's viewers there, I'm like, oh my God, how do you guys get there? Who? The inner owl in me is enraged. Who do I need to beg to let me to go to these things? But I'm so excited for season 2. I cannot wait. I'm so ready to have a Walking Dead show back on our screens because listen, it feels like it's been forever since we had Walking Dead content going on. And I know the gap between Daryl and Dead City, I don't think it was any longer than usual, but I've just missed it so much. So Mondays are going to be double amazing because we're going to have The Last of Us and we're going to have Dead City. Okay, I have to get up my list because I just set myself off there. I said The Last of Us and my brain just started crying. I have a list. I rewatched this week's episode of The Last of Us 4 times and I have a list of things that I want to talk about. So if you haven't seen this episode of The Last of Us, what are you doing with your life? Please, I'll put a timestamp on the screen down below so you can skip all this. But we're going to talk and dissect this episode. We knew there was going to have to be a mourning period after episode 2. I'm still in denial. I'm still conning myself. I'm like, he will be back. He will return, and he will. We're probably going to get flashbacks and stuff. But yeah, we knew that it was going to be tough. I just realised how goddamn yellow my hair looks on camera. Oh, Lord. I'm going to be toning it tonight. So for today, you got to deal with what can only be described as toxic yellow. I mean, I don't think it does, but I'm half convinced this would glow in the dark if I turned off the lights. But we knew there was going to be a mourning period after Joel. We knew it was going to be tough. I saw some people saying Ellie waited, 3 months to go after Abby. She was in hospital with tubes hanging out of her ribs. She got her ribs caved in. She was recuperating. As soon as she could physically go, she was off. And I want to talk about the scene. Probably the standout scene of the whole episode was the scene where it's just Ellie on her own. And she's in Joel's closet, like, sniffing his shirts and stuff. That was so beautiful. And I think it's one of the only times that we've seen her be just herself in recent times, because she was in the hospital for a long time. And then she was around Dina afterwards when her and Dina had to go on this revenge mission. So getting to see her alone with her grief, just her and the pain and the gap that like Joel left behind, it was so beautiful. And there was something very real about it as well, that if somebody that you love, if you know, unfortunately, if you've lived through that, you know the pain of losing someone. Something as simple as smelling their clothes or just seeing something that they used to wear, it just makes it real to you and it can set you off. So that whole scene was so beautiful. And you had the light as well coming in through the window, and it was just so gorgeous. I want to know, she was in hospital, right, for like what, 3 months or something. Okay, I know she has the tattoo covering the bite mark, and I know she carved out the bite mark that was on her stomach, but she had doctors poking and prodding and pulling at her for months. None of them saw bite marks or went, hey, what's this? What's the deal with this? She spent so long hiding her secret from everybody, but then she was just in hospital with people all around her. We're bouncing from thought to thought here. You need to strap in for this episode because the thoughts are coming in quick. Another point that I've written down here is that parts of this episode felt like it mirrored a lot of the Bill and Frank episode. Because when Joel found out that Bill and Frank were gone, right, and then you had him reading the note, you had him pacing around outside the house trying to come to terms with it, Ellie was just inside. So I think in this episode, when Ellie came down the stairs and Dina was sitting at the table, I don't know, there was a lot that reminded me of that scene and that moment. Maybe it was because the situation was kind of similar. And then Ellie, for the rest of the episode, it just felt like she was taking on a lot of Joel's characteristics really quick. We know Ellie's had to grow up a lot faster, and we know that Ellie has had to like deal with so much fuckery. But especially on Shimmer, when we're on the horse and you have Dina's, it's like an alphabet game where we're listing people and we're calling out names in regarding to the alphabet, got to do with the alphabet. And Ellie's like, are we going to go through the whole alphabet? And it just reminded me so much of season 1 when she would annoy Joel with her jokes. And I'm like, I hate being reminded of the passage of time and the fact that nothing is permanent. Ha! I want to talk about the homophobic little guy as well. I can't remember his name. The guy that was homophobic to Ellie and Dina, and then Joel sent his ass flying across the room. Because in this episode, I was really surprised to see that he stood up for Joel. So Joel knocked his fucking daylights out of him. And then when we're at the council meeting and we're trying to talk people into going after Dina, he's the one who stands up and he's like, he gives this big ass speech. And then we see him later on help Ellie when he swaps, I think he gives her a gun or something, which somebody made a very good point. How do we know we can trust that? We don't. Suspicion first, trust later. But I just thought it was really interesting that he was one of the few people that was in her corner, because we saw, I think her name was Rachel. We saw someone stand up at that meeting when we're trying to decide should we send people out to go after Abby or not. We saw a woman stand up and give a speech, and she was like, you want to send 16 of our best away? Who's going to man the wall? No. And to that I say, 1, why can't you man the wall? Okay, you're going to send 16 of your best fighters away. There's going to be people left at home. Can they not man the wall? Are they incapable of doing that? And 2, are you telling me that without 16 of your fighters, you are incapable of defending your community? Because if that's the case, oh boy, you got so much more trouble coming your way. I felt for Abby. I felt for Abby. Me and her are besties. I feel like I know her. I feel like I associate with the character. It's my cute little nickname for her. Me and Abby. You could see all of the hope drained from her eyes because she's a very proud person. She's a very protected individual who doesn't like asking for help or reaching out to people. And I'm like, oh my God, are you a mirror, Abby? Because same. So her standing up and asking for help, it took a lot. And then to just be rejected so monumentally, I would have crashed out so bad in that cabin, in that room. I would have started flipping tables and smacking people. But you could see the moment where she kind of realised, oh, okay, so none of you fuckers are going to side with me. 3 out of the 8 sided with her, and we all know who they were. it was rough to watch. And I don't get as well why it's only those 8 that were allowed votes. Shouldn't everybody have been given a vote? Now, maybe we would have been sitting here counting those votes for a while, but that would have made more sense to me, to have everybody vote. Her speech as well about, like, you know, getting justice, where she said that it's not the dances or the dinners that are holding us together. It's interesting to see, because we had this in The Walking Dead as well, where you have apocalypse shows where you jump into the future and, like, people have rebuilt communities and they have homes and walls and structures. They start to get this weird sense of, like, normalcy. So, like, dinner parties and going out and socializing and stuff. And you kind of start to lose sight of the fact that you're living in an apocalypse. There's creatures outside them fucking walls, Sally. And you can cook as many potlucks as you want and attend as many dances as you want. But you're one fucking weak panel in the wall away from a walker crawling in and eating your fucking head off. Part of me thinks that they got a little bit too comfortable in the community that they've built up and that it shielded them from the real world a little bit. Because their response kind of spoke volumes. You see people in apocalypse shows go kind of feral and go a little bit crazy. Their response was like total fear. And I know it's grief because a lot of the community died as well. So, you know, there's that going on too. But it's odd that they wouldn't have wanted to send people after them. Fear probably is a whole lot to do with it. They're like, I don't want to go after them. They killed Joel. We don't stand a chance. And speaking of we need to work on the community that we have, by the way, I gotta talk about the therapist, because we had that beautiful scene between, I'm terrible with names, alright, but the therapist, Catherine O'Hara, who, yeah, I know it's Kevin's mom. The amount of people that are telling me, did you know that's Kevin's mom from Home Alone, in the comments? I'm like, did you not hear the amount of Kevin jokes I made? Am I just yelling into the void here? There's that scene where we see her sitting at the baseball, on the baseball field, and Tommy comes over to have a chat with her. And she just kind of says offhandedly, like, you know, therapists have therapists to deal with this kind of stuff. And the last few weeks have been so heavy because everybody needs therapy because, like, a bunch of fucking people kicked the bucket. I'm stressed and depressed and all I want to do is get high. Relatable, girly. My point to that is she's the only therapist in this whole community, right? We know that. Poor Joel had to go talking to her even though he... he added to the list of reasons why she needed therapy. He killed her fucking husband and then had the brass balls to sit across from her in therapy week after week. Joel Miller, the man that you are. But she's the only one here in the community. Shouldn't she be training other people to be therapists or to be, what is she? She's not a therapist. She's a... Oh, I can't read that. I wrote a word down. Oh, she's a psychotherapist. Okay. There's a word here that I don't understand and spell check couldn't even help me. OTIEPTHESRIPODTS. That's not even a word. What is that? bitches. No, fucking spell check couldn't even save that word. The dyslexia one. Like, not to be mean, but she's old-ish. And, like, if she dies, what? There's going to be no therapy for anybody? We had our shit rocked last episode. And we've one therapist to deal with everything. One, that's an almighty lot of stress to put on one person. And two, I feel like she really should be training people in to deal or to prepare the next generation. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's not like they can learn social skills and how to therapize themselves on Google. They have no way of learning that kind of stuff. So I really feel like she should try and pass that on to some younger students. I loved the nature versus nurture discussion as well. That was very interesting. It's funny because I was planning on... I got accepted into college for a few different courses, but one of the courses that I applied for was counselling. I wanted to go into being either a therapist or a psychiatrist. I wanted to like major and specialise in counselling, and I wanted to work with like teenagers and stuff. I've always had a real fascination for psychology and why the mind works, how it does. I've also been fascinated by anthropology. So it's just interesting watching her and her methods and how she is the way she is, how she rationalizes things by herself. She's self-aware to know, like, oh my, like, I'm fucked up. Hey, I need a therapist. Can someone give me a big fucking mirror so I can talk to myself? But at the same time, she's given advice and I'm like, I don't think you should be saying that. I don't think therapists should say this. We got to talk as well about the Abby and Ellie debate, because I had people, and you're always going to get this for some reason, I had people mad at me inside the comment section because they were like, you cannot agree with Ellie and not agree with Abby. And to that I say, well, yes, I argue both sides as much as I can in every video. It's not my fault if you don't pick up on that. Abby was 100% right to do what she did. Was it the right thing to do? No. She went Negan on his fucking head. Would I have done that if I were her? Yeah, probably so. And if that paints me as a little bit delirious, to that I say, I'm sorry it took you this long to find out. I get it. I get why she did what she did. In the same breath, Pedro Pascal is my absolute baby child. I love him. I would defend him with my life. And Joel Miller has been one of my favourite characters before him. So it's like a double fucking loss for me. So I'm like, oh my god, someone knock her lights the fuck out right now. If I have to watch the rest of the show without Joel, and I have to play the rest of the games without Joel, I'm not gonna. No, I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. No, it's too mean. I get why she did what she did, but at the same time, I get why Joel did what he did. And a lot of people were yelling at me because I was like, he was saving Ellie. That's why he killed the people in the hospital. And then I had people explaining the plot of the show to me and the game as if I'm new here, telling me you do not he damned humanity's chance for the cure. 1, we do not know that cure would have even worked. 2, I probably would have done the same thing for him to save someone that I love. If that was my child, well, she's not his child, but he's adoptive child. If that was my brother, if it was my parent, I would have done the same thing. Except I would have done things a little differently than how Joel did it. There would have been no fucking survivors. In an apocalypse hypothetical situation, of course. Abby killed Joel for revenge, for like pure bloodlust and rage. Relatable. Joel killed everybody else for love to save Ellie. Relatable. They're very different situations. It's the same thing, but different. And Ellie going off on her mission, I'm like, yeah, you go, girl. Choo choo, all aboard the revenge train. I'll sharpen my pitchforks. Bring me with you. And I try to make this point as often as I can. I don't get a lot of time to talk in reaction videos. Well, that's a big fucking lie. I don't get a lot of time to rationalise in reaction videos. But I do try and make the point. Everybody here is right in their reasoning. Everybody. But at the same time, nobody did the right thing. But they did the right thing for them. Do you understand me? I really like the grave scene as well. Seeing Ellie get to sit down and put the coffee beans down on Joel's grave. Oh, it was so cold and lonely and sad. I think that's the moment it became like real. Similar with the moment with Tommy as well, where we see him cleaning Joel's body. Oh, that means Tommy was probably the one to take Joel's watch off and leave it at the house for Ellie. Oh, I do find it a bit weird that he wasn't buried with that. I feel like he probably would have wanted to be, but it would have. It's nice. It's nice to be left for Ellie, I guess. But yeah, that grave scene was. Oh, I'm kind of curious as to why the grave is so far away, because Tommy said it was 10 miles out of town or something. Maybe it's something got to do with like crops or growing food, that they don't want corpses all up in there. You know, what will soon be dinner. I get that, but that seems a bit far away. What if you want to go have a midnight chat with Joel? You can't? Yeah, I have down that I loved the discussion that Ellie had with Dina about the first person they killed up on the horse. But not her actually opening up to her telling her about the other situation. And I think that just she's comfortable with Dina. She likes being around Dina. But I don't think we'll ever see her around someone the same way that she was with Joel. I don't know that layer of trust and that layer of blatant honesty will be possible between her and another character. But it's going to be interesting seeing her build other relations and build other, that scene though inside the tent where she said you can go back to Jesse and she hits her with I already did. I was like, oh my god, again, the mother of all crash outs with a car. I would Hulk rip my way through that fucking tent. I'd be like, oh, okay, go back to Jesse. So, and is that immature of me? Yes, but like Dina, she has this on again off again thing with Jesse. And then she kisses Ellie, and then she goes back to Jesse. But then she runs away with Ellie to go on this murder mission. Jesse's left back at home, presumably like, what the fuck? And she mentioned something about Jesse being really sad, or Jesse like having a lot going on. And I can't help but be like, well, the Ross and Rachel on again, off again situation cannot be helping matters. You best friend kisser. I got severe Walking Dead vibes from this episode. Just like the scenes of, we had that car that was like eaten by moss out in the forest. The forest scenes themselves. The wolves, the mentioning of wolves. Walking into Seattle, it was just like doing a double take for the Atlanta shot in season 1. I really do have a taste when it comes to shows, don't I? But yeah, it was a nice episode. It was nice to have a moment to breathe and mourn him, and to watch the whole community be shocked by it and how different people reacted differently to it. I hope Tommy gets to have his crash out. I hope Tommy gets to have his moment, because as a sibling, I can't think of anything in the world that would probably make me more vicious than a situation like that. It's nice seeing the love that he has for Ellie as well. that he's just kind of like adopted her. It's not the same as Joel, obviously, and I think everyone knows that. But it's nice knowing that she does have family. Gabriel Luna he's such a good actor. There was some scenes in this episode, the "he was my brother" line that he delivered. Say hi to Sarah. Oh, or tell Sarah I said hi. That scene. Yeah. Ow. But yeah, so basically I loved this episode. Thought it was really good. Really excited for the next one. Ballsy as all hell. We knew it was going down this route. We knew it was going to happen sooner or later. I thought it would be later. I thought that they would switch around some things and change some storylines and give a reason as to why it would happen later. Drag out certain moments. I really thought this was going to be a season finale type of event, and then season 3 would be dealing with what season 2 is going to be dealing with now. And I had people explaining to me why that wouldn't work and explaining the games to me, and I'm like, again, I know. It's an adaptation. Things can change. We saw it with The Walking Dead. We've seen it with a lot of like comic books or games to shows or to films. I thought they changed some stuff around. Some major stuff around. So it's ballsy. It's very ballsy to kill off your lead. Especially when your lead is the Pedro Pascal. I thought they were going to hold on to him until the bitter end. I thought poor Pedro was going to have HBO's claw marks in his arms for the rest of his life. And they really said, no, Pedro, darling, we did it once, we'll do it again. We had Oberyn's all gouged out. We might as well beat your face in this time round, in this universe. I thought the plot armor was going to be bulletproof. It wasn't. It was not. And I've seen a lot of people be upset about this. And I'm like, oh, this is clearly your first time, babe, huh? The fucking Walking Dead lineup took it out of me. I remember sitting in my room and I could hear church bells in the distance, which made it all the fucking weirder. I remember sitting in my room after doing the reaction, just staring at the screen, and all I could hear was church bells in the background, and I must have sat there for about 5-10 minutes, unmoving. And this is the first time that I felt something that severe in regards to a TV show since that. So yeah, the show's just magic. I'm loving it. I'm loving it an awful lot. I understand why people would be mad. I am mad, yes. But, you know, people complain when plot armor is so thick that characters are deemed safe forever, which is understandable. But then people also complain when you take the other route and you decide, like, death to the most beloved little beautiful boy in the whole world. People also get mad at that, so it's like you can't really win. Pedro did the most amazing performance throughout this show. I've said it before, like, I don't know why I'm holding on to the cushion for emotional support. I'm like I'm on a roller coaster. I'm getting ready to talk about Pedro Pascal no longer being on my screen, and I gotta brace myself. I've said it once and I'll say it again. I loved Joel before Pedro. I played the game as a teen because my brother wanted to play the game and he was too young. So my mother sat us both down and was like, Kate, played the game for him. And I was like, I don't even like games. All right, let's go. I knew nothing about it. I don't think I'd ever played a game in full in my life. Stumbled my way through it while telling him to cover his eyes for the scarier parts. So, like, I don't know, there's aspects to Joel that his character I love and I really resonate with and I feel so fucking seen by. And Pedro brought him to life tenfold. I love it. I adore him. I'm going to miss him so much. I know we have a load of projects coming out that he's going to be in. But The Last of Us just felt like absolute lightning in a bottle. And he did a fantastic job. He really, really did. I wonder if he gets like a kick out of seeing the whole world cry over him dying yet again in something. I swear to God, if he dies in The Mandalorian or Fantastic Four, I'm going to write him a very sad handwritten email. I don't know. Crying. He did a fantastic job though. Oh, he's so fucking great. And speaking of Pedro Pascal, while we're on the topic, I watched Freaky Tales recently, which is a new release that he's in. It's a film. Trippiest movie. It's like the closest you can come to being stoned while being sober. If you get the chance, go see fucking Freaky Tales. Anything Pedro's in, I'm just on. I'm on board for. I'm like, give it to me right fucking now. And I don't think I've ever been disappointed by a project he's been in. I've been surprised by projects he's been in. I've been confused by projects, but I've never been disappointed. That man is a fucking powerhouse of an actor. Yes, I watched Freaky Tales. Strange Way of Life is also probably one of my favourite things he's ever done. Fantastic film, although it's a short film, so if you get the chance, oh my god, go watch that. But I also watched a film called Drop. Now, Pedro was not in that, so that's a mark against it straight off the bat. This movie, to me, it looked like it was going to be like the next Trap, if you've seen that film, right? I thought it was going to be kind of campy, but like scary and thriller-esque, with some lighter camp elements thrown in. Kind of reminiscent of like Ash vs. Evil Dead, that balance of like camp but scary at the same time. Drop felt like it was made by like 4 different directors who did not want to speak to each other or inform each other of what the vision for the project was. It felt fucking scary and thriller-esque, and at points it felt comedic and funny, and then at other points you had Michael Bay explosions going off that just was so out of place, and then it ends like a Hallmark movie. I liked it, but I still don't really know what I made of it. Do you understand? I'll tell you a funny story. We are hard transitioning. I haven't learned the art of transitions just yet. I don't think I ever will. I ran into someone that I knew recently, right? And they were like, oh my God, it's great to see you. How have you been? Blah, blah, blah. And I just kind of back and forth with them. And then they were like, yeah, I keep up with you on social media. I follow you on socials and like YouTube and stuff. And I was like, oh, cool, sick, thank you. And they were like, yeah, don't you find it weird? And I'm like, did you follow me? You can unfollow me if you want. And they were like, no, that like, you know, people can keep up with you, that your content is just out there. Like, what if people in your real life see your content? And I was bamboozled in the produce section of that shop because I don't really care. I mean, my content is just reaction videos and break it down TV shows. One, I'm not embarrassed by that. Two, I mean, I've cried on the internet more times than I can count because of fictional fucking characters. I don't really... I don't know, is there something wrong with me? Well, that's a lie. There's a multitude, a plethora, if you will, of things that are probably going on up here. But like, yeah, no, I don't really care. When I was at school, I was a really weird motherfucker. I started school very shy, and I still am shy, but like, I was very shy. And then I decided at like 14 or 15 that Alice from Twilight was my style icon from the first movie. So I cut my hair just like her, and I mean her hair, I'll put a picture on screen for reference. I cut it just like her, and I used to get up before school every morning to flat iron my hair so it would stand out the way hers stood out. And it wasn't until I was walking along one day in school, I was walking through a courtyard, and I look at the floor and I see the shadow of my head, and I realise, girl, you look like an aeroplane, you look like you're going to flap your fucking wings and take off home. The shadow of my hair just knocked me right out of that delusion. And then I remember cutting it off to the point where it was about this length or a little bit shorter. And that turned a bunch of heads as well, because my school was not alternative in any fucking way. And nobody that I went to school with was on like the alternative aesthetic. Oh, the amount of people I had telling me, oh my God, you're so brave. I could never cut my hair. I could never. I'd be afraid of looking like a boy. And I'm standing there with my like self-cut pixie cut, like. Then I grew my hair super long and decided One Direction were the be all and end all of my life. So I had a roller coaster experience in school. People never knew what to make of me. I was always a bit odd and off-putting, in a fun way, I'd like to think. And I've stayed that way. I'm passionate. I've made a job out of doing what I love. I don't really care what people think of me all that much. I did used to care to an extent. I had a really bad lisp as a kid and went to speech therapy to try and get rid of that. Didn't really work. I still have like a touch of it, but like, so what? My S's are a bit fucking sloppy. Yeah. And I got teased a bit over that when I was younger. I also used to have a tooth. I used to lovingly refer to it as my shark tooth or my vampire tooth. It was a tooth right there, and it got stuck in my gum, and it used to wave out of my gum at people, and it never came down. Like, I never grew into it. And whenever anybody would make fun of me or take attacks on my personal appearance, they'd always go for that. If they were trying to hit below the belt, they'd talk about the shark tooth. And it got to the point that I was like, alright, fine, I'll get it removed. And I did. But it left like a little bit of a dint behind in the gum. So like, you can change as much as you want about yourself, but people are just going to find something new to make fun of you over, to find a reason to not like you. So as long as you're like happy with yourself and you're not hurting anybody, honest to God, fuck what anybody else thinks. And I say that with full confidence. I don't care anymore. I think it's because I've spent a lot of time as well, not just like working on myself, but just exploring like what makes me happy, what makes me want to live, what makes me want to get up in the morning. And if something brings me joy, I'm not going to apologize or like downplay it or be like, I know it's cringy, or I know. No, I love TV shows. I love music. I love bands. I love going to events. I love conventions. I love concerts. And I go to a lot of those events on my own because I want to fucking go. I remember, what was I at? I was at something recently, and was it a concert? What? No, I think it was a convention. I was at something, and somebody came up and they were like, I know you from YouTube. And they must have like either seen that I was on my own or I must have mentioned something, and then they hit me with the, oh, I could never go to an event on my own. I'd be too awkward. And I'm like, stuff like that is backhanded compliments, one, but two, your own company is probably one of the best companies that you could be in. Well, you know, if you're deluded like myself, which I am. If you talk to yourself for a living, which I do, being lonely or being awkward or being weird, it's not a problem. All that to say, no, I don't care if people in my real life see my videos. People in my real life hear me film these videos. My brother's probably listening to me right now. He has the fun experience of hearing me scream at a screen and react to things that he has no idea what I'm reacting to. He just randomly hears me yell at different points of the day and is like, oh, she must be recording. Or I hope she is. So that was my little rant on that. I don't remember where we were going with this. But I don't get nervous over things like that. And that's something I want to talk about too. I have like really bad anxiety, which seems pretty commonplace these days, I know. But I have it so bad to the point that like I actually get sick. It makes it makes me sick. I've had to deal with hair loss when my anxiety gets like really bad. Like just chunks just come out and I'm like, oh boy, this again. But it's over the weirdest of shit, right? So like I can do this video. I can post this video, reply to comments. I can post anything online and be fucking splendid. This doesn't make me anxious. The thought of somebody seeing this doesn't make me anxious. I'm like, hi, I hope I'm keeping you company this Friday and you're somewhat enjoying this. But the thoughts of answering my phone makes me want to vomit. My body cannot tell the difference between being attacked by sharks or answering a phone call. My phone starts to ring, my body starts sweating, my hands are shaking. I will sit and watch it ring, rattling, until it's done. And the embarrassing thing is, I do this for any phone number. Even if I fucking know the person, I'm not answering the phone. I'm so sorry, I missed your call, I didn't miss it, I watched it ring, I'm not answering you. Unless you're like one of 4 people in my life. If you're outside of those 4 people, I'm not answering the phone. But it baffles me. Where does that come from? Because I can do stuff like this. I can go to conventions. I can meet viewers. I can meet actors and people that I love, that I look up to, and not be nervous. But the phone is where I draw the line. And now it's gotten even worse, actually, because we got a door cam which hooks up to the phone so you can like monitor your front door from your phone. So now the postman, oh God bless him, the postman, when we have deliveries and stuff, will ring the doorbell. My phone starts ringing, I don't answer it. I hang my head out the window and wave at him and I'm like, 2 seconds, I'll be down to you. I could just answer it through the phone, but no. The goblin who lives inside my brain is like, we don't want to do that, and I have to oblige. I just don't get how that makes sense. Or how I can bleach my hair knowing fully well bleach damages your hair. What if it doesn't come out the colour that you want? And I'm just like, is this the colour that I want? Nah, but we're pretty light. I lifted it from like jet black to this colour. I'm happy with that. I did it myself, if you cannot tell. I'm happy with that, and we're going to be going blonder like tomorrow or tonight or tomorrow or something. But that doesn't stress me out. I remember one time my dad shaved a bald patch into the back of my head. That didn't stress me out. He didn't mean to do it in his defence. I gave him a razor with a 2 guard because that's usually how short my sides are. They're either 2 or 3. It depends on how fruity I'm feeling in the moment. Sometimes I want skull shining through, baby. So I gave him the razor. Oh God. And I was like, can you shave like behind my ear, like here, because I have a mohawk, right? And I find it hard to clean up the back. He said, say less, give me the razor. Oh, that poor man. He then proceeded to take off the guards because I assume he thought it was like some kind of covering that wasn't supposed to be on it. And instead of shaving the shave parts that you're supposed to shave, he put the razor at the nape of my neck and just went straight up. And you know, there was a moment of silence between us where I could feel the cold air hitting my scalp at the back of my neck, and I was like, oh no. Oh, I think he's after shaving in a bald patch. And there's a moment that he's looking at the bald patch behind me going, oh sweet Jesus, how do I tell her this? So I had to break the ice eventually and be like, hair grows back. And I like hats. I do like hats. I have a load of beanie hats. I've never seen a man go through the 7 stages of grief so quick in his life. Denial, acceptance, rage, bargaining, and then he was like, I'm never doing that again. He handed me back the razor and was like, don't ever ask me. And I was like, Don't worry, I won't. There was also the time, oh God, my hair has been through a journey. There was also the time in school that my nana cut my fringe. My bangs, for you Americans. So I had very, very, very long hair down to my waist. And I wanted like a straight across fringe. And my nana, she thinks of herself as a hairdresser. So she grabs my fringe, pulls down and just cuts across. And when she lets go, I had what could only be described as micro bangs that stood out and waved to people as they passed by. It was so short that all it could do was stand straight up. She was crying, my mother was crying, my father was laughing. I'm standing there looking at myself in the mirror going, this is bad. Oh well, it did not faze me in the slightest. I went into school with like the worst haircut of anybody in my class, and the ridicule. Oh! And it didn't bother me. I was like, okay, you make fun of me now, but when I grow into these bangs, I'm going to be fucking unstoppable. I never did grow into them. They grew out uneven, gapped. What I'm getting from this is I don't care about my personal appearance enough to be embarrassed. Clearly. I also recently found out that the saying is meet cutes, not meet cues. I know that might seem out of left field to you guys, but I spent my whole life... Okay. I know it was a boring point, alright? But you don't need to smack the microphone off my kneecap. That might have been my fault. I think I was readjusting. Sit up. No, stop it. Sit. Sit. So the saying apparently is meet cues, and I'm convinced there's a ghost in this room, and I'm not even being funny about it. I swear to God, the weird shit that's been going on lately and the happenstances is just so unusual. Patricia, if that's your name, I don't know why, but I feel like it's right. Stop fucking with my mic, please. I know I'm dull, but some people enjoy this. The saying is meet cutes, not meet cues, basically. I thought it was a meet cue. What the fuck is a meet cute? Wouldn't it be a cute meet? Or cute meeting? Not meet cute. The language baffles me. I also put up a TikTok recently about what's your Walking Dead hot takes, where I wanted hot takes only got to do with the Walking Dead universe. And wow, did people deliver. I got some hot takes in that comment section. It was fascinating going through and reading all like the conflicting thoughts and opinions that people had. There was also a load of, oh my God, I remember you. I used to watch you back in the day. I used to love your videos. And I'm like, used to, huh? Wonderful. I think it made me realize how like long I've been doing this. I've been doing this for like 8 years-ish. That's a long ass time. And I'm glad that I've branched off into other fandoms. Like I'm doing other reactions for other shows because it's nice to get a little bit of variety instead of just being strictly Walking Dead. Speaking of branching off into other shows, my Doctor Who reactions, 2 of them I think got copyrighted this morning. And I'm like, this happened to me with the specials, it happened to me with the Christmas specials, and it happened to me with the last season as well. There's always copyright problems with Doctor Who. I don't know why. I don't know why the Doctor Who gods fucking despise me so bad. I mean, I do the extended versions up on Patreon. I'm gonna do another one this weekend, and if anything happens, I'm pulling them from YouTube because I'm not. It's just the amount of editing that it takes to try and get the reaction to jump through the copyright hoops to begin with is not worth the fucking hassle and the time if it's just gonna end up being fucked anyway, you know. But I am happy that I started reactions for other shows and that I branched out. The Last of Us community has been one of the nicest to me, probably ever. People are so nice in my comment sections. You do get the little know-it-all pricks that try and, like, I don't know, make you feel stupid. And I'm like, I don't need you to make me feel stupid. I do a fine job of that by myself, mister. But generally, it's been really nice, and I've met some really kind fucking people. And what shocked me is the amount of people. I thought, like, I was going to be ripped to shreds after Joel's death. I thought people were going to just, like, make fun of me non-stop. Nobody did. It was so kind. It was so polite. We were all crying together in the comment section. It was just splendid. Anyway, it's been a year since I went to Crossroads Convention, which is a convention in England that Supernatural cast members go to. And you know, it got me thinking. I don't know if I've ever told this story before on YouTube, but you guys know I'm a big Supernatural fan. You know I absolutely love the show. I love the cast. And I have done for a very long time. And it's probably the longest I've been a fan of something without ever interacting with the people from the thing. If I love musicians, I go to concerts. If I love actors, I go to conventions. I never, with the exception of Jeffrey Dean Morgan, because I know he's in The Walking Dead and I've met him and he was John Winchester. With the exception of Jeffrey Dean Morgan, I'd never met anybody from Supernatural. And last year, I decided to go to Crossroads specifically to meet Misha Collins, because that guy is just a splendid person. I love him. And I bumped into that motherfucker in the airport. It was like 5 a.m. in Dublin Airport. I'm sitting at my gate and who walks right past me? Misha fucking Collins. I thought I was going to projectile vomit all over the floor. I went up to him and had a very brief talk with him where I just told him, I'm a big fan. I know you get this a lot and I know this is annoying, but I'm going to this convention to meet you. And I've waited like 10 years to meet you. This is nuts. And he was very polite. And he was like, oh, you want a selfie? And I was like, not really. I mean, it's really early in the morning. And do you want to take one? Like, are you? And he was like, I'd probably rather not. And I was like, well, yeah. And I was like, well, I have a photo op with you over the weekend anyway. So yeah, that's totally cool. It's fine. I just wanted to like speak to you and just say hi. And he seemed shocked by it. I guess because usually people, when they go up to anybody like that, it's just to get a selfie and to take a picture, not to have a conversation with a human. But yeah, that's just about a year ago now that happened. I've never been more confused in my entire life. It is the single most shell-shocked I have ever been than when I was eating a cheese sandwich in Dublin Airport and Misha Collins just strolled past me. I thought I was fucking dead, dying, hallucinating, or all of the above. And then you're on a plane, you're flying through the clouds, through the fucking sky, we're walking in the air, through the clouds, and you look over and your favourite angel is sitting like 6 rows in front of you. I really wanted to try and go to Crossroads this year as well, but I don't think it's meant to be. I think it's like a week or two from now. I also went to Liverpool Comic Con last year. Let me give you guys the tea from a year ago, by the way. I think I put up vlogs about it. I did Liverpool Comic Con as well, which was great. But I really do. I wanted to get back to Crossroads this year. Or at the very least, I'm going to try and go to Dublin Comic Con. That happens twice a year here in Ireland. And they usually get really good guests, and I've been going like every year since the very first one. The very first one was held in like a giant steel building. I think it was like an airplane hangar, and I remember it was so fucking cool. And we've gone every year, well, most years since then. So I might try and go this year as well. I think Wilson Fisk is going, and I need to meet him. I need to hear Vanessa in real life. I'm going to try and get back going to conventions because it's great, and I love meeting people as well that watch my videos, and I seem to meet you guys mostly at conventions. I meet you out in the wild sometime, but it's mostly at conventions and stuff. A likely place for us TV show lovers to be, let's face it. I'm going to try and get to Dublin Comic Con this year. I'm going to see 21 Pilots next week, and I'm so excited I might like burst into flames on the spot. I saw them in Dublin in I think it was 2019 for the Bandito tour, and they are so good live. I have like, seriously, the amount of 21 Pilot tattoos I have is insane. That's just one of the most obvious ones because it's their symbol and lyrics. Where's the My Blood one? Yeah, this one. You can't even see it. It's too far away. It's the verse from a song called My Blood, which is probably my song to my family. And I got them all to write a line each from the song. Didn't tell them what it was for. It was like, just write this line for me. My mother, my brother, my father, and my nana wrote a line each. And let me tell you, my grandmother is the most down for anything woman in the world. I go to her and I'm like, Nana, write out this sentence for me. She didn't even ask me what the fuck it was for. She was just like, okay. There you go. Not a fuck given. But yeah, I saw them back in like 2019, and myself and my brother were going up to see them this time, and I'm so excited. Clancy is one of my favourite modern albums. I seriously, I might just like scream. Speaking of favourite albums, I have to show you guys this. Patricia, you're not to touch the microphone. You're not to touch the fucking microphone. Leave it where it is. So you guys know that I collect stuff and things. This background is, I think, the plainest you guys have ever seen me against. And it is very weird not having anything on this wall. I played around with the idea of like putting stuff on the walls, and then I was like, actually, maybe it's a nice change. It's very plain and relaxed and scaled back. Maybe this is what we need for a podcast, just to talk. But like, you know, my normal background is filled with stuff. And I collect anything that I like. I collect snow globes. I collect rocks that I think look cool. I'm starting to get what that old friend of mine meant about, do you ever get embarrassed by people in your real life watching your content? And I'm like, no! Cut to me 5 seconds ago, I like collecting rocks. Anyway, So Taylor Swift does this thing where she brings out signed versions of albums when she's like launching them or whatever. I have a signed Folklore and I have a signed Evermore. I don't. That's a lie. I have a signed Folklore and I have a signed Midnights. I want a signed Evermore. It's my favourite album by her, but we don't have that right now. But I got a signed Tortured Poets and it came with a love heart, motherfuckers. She does love hearts on some of her little signed inserts that she does, but not all. So I already have 2 albums by her, but this is my 3rd and it's my 1st with the love heart, and I am getting the love heart tattooed. Remember what I said earlier about if something makes you happy, just fucking go for it? This little love heart makes me so happy. I'm gonna get it on my body forever. You know, those are permanent. You're gonna have that on you forever. And I'm like, well, I paid enough. I should hope so. Cassandra. If they washed off in the shower, I'd be most disappointed, darling. I am filling up pretty fucking quick, though. Like, you don't really get to see my arms that often because I am usually covered. But, like, we're filling up quickly. My legs as well. Oh, my legs. We got to work on them, I think it was last summer. I'm running out of space. Anyway, I think that's where we're going to leave it today. Because the heat now is just starting to get to me. I'm starting to get to that uncomfortable level of warm. The uncomfortable level of warm. I can feel my scalp sweating. But I think the thin layer of bleach that remains from me having not rinsed my hair properly is stopping the sweat from escaping, and it's going back into my brain and overheating. But yeah, thank you guys for sitting and for talking and for hanging with me. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed these little videos. I'm supposed to be giving updates in these videos. I think that's why I started this. I'm now blonde. That's it. It's the only update I have over the last week. Well, I mean, like, we're starting Dead City and stuff like that, but there's no big updates. There's some updates actually thrown into this video. I talked about the Doctor Who problems. I gave a little review of The Last of Us. I guess there was some. Watch me just frantically scraping my brain trying to find a semblance of reason in this video. I'm like, no, there was some points made. There was some. I'm fucking delirious from the heat. And I'm still mourning Joel Miller. So, what do you want from me? But that's it for this talk, you guys. Thank you for hanging and for chatting and for listening. I hope that you're enjoying this style of video. I hope that it's making its way into your Fridays, wherever you may be watching from the world, whatever you may be doing. Next week's podcast is going to go up a day earlier. I don't know why I said that's so weird. But it's going to go up a day earlier because, like I said, I'm going to be in Dublin at 21 Pilots, so I probably won't have the chance to upload it, so I might post it next Thursday instead. Yeah, thank you guys for hanging, and I hope you're enjoying the reaction videos so far to everything that's gone on the channel. We're doing Andor as well. The Andor ones are kind of, they're not performing as well as I thought they would. Maybe just people don't give a shit about my take on Star Wars, which is completely valid. My take on Star Wars, to be honest, is like, ew, why is there spiders in this show? And 2, I am so in love with Cassian Andor. Oh my god, newest obsession, let me tell you. That motherfucker is one of the prettiest motherfuckers to have ever graced a screen in Star Wars, with the exception of Pedro Pascal. Mando will always be number 1. Wow, he is stunning. So, maybe that's why. But I'm enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you're watching and you're not subscribed and you dig the vibe, please be sure to subscribe because it helps the channel out. It helps the channel grow and will hopefully push the channel out to more people, which that's what I'm aiming for. I'm going to aim to try and grow because I've had a lot of people saying to me, like, I've been watching for years. I didn't realize I wasn't subscribed. I'm subscribing now, all that kind of stuff. But I've also had a lot of people saying, like, I've just found you. How is your channel not bigger than it is? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know, man. Maybe it's the offsetting aura that I put out into the world. This off-puts some of the weaker people. You know what I'm saying? Only the strong survive on this channel. You know what I mean. But yeah, I'm going to focus on trying to grow the channel, I think. So I think it's fun that we get to do these more personal sit-down moments. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, for hanging, and for support. And what we talked about my brain overheating, I think it's happening. Thank you guys for hanging, chatting and supporting. I hope you have an absolutely beautiful weekend, whatever you get up to, and I will talk to you all soon.